What's going on, everybody? Fearless Beatz here, and today we're going to take a look at how you can arrange your beats like the pros and get them to start selling right away. So guys, without any further ado, let's jump right into this tutorial.
Yeah, hit me with that fearless shit.
Alright guys, and really quick before we get started, please hit that subscribe button if you're new here and hit the like button. It'll help this channel get moving. I really appreciate it. And anyways guys, let's start arranging this beat and get right into the tutorial. So what I got here is I got the startings of a beat going on, so we're gonna look at how we can start arranging it. So really quick, let's just take a listen to what we have so far. Alright, so just a couple drums, keeping it simple, and I also have this bass here, which is going to come in before the drop. Alright, so we got all that to work with. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to drag in each of these into the track view, and then we're going to start arranging this bad boy. Alright guys, so I got all those clips dragged into the arrangement view now. So now we're going to start breaking this apart and building an actual song out of it. So I first like to start with like a 4-bar intro, just something weird catches you off guard, and then it gets right into the beat after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this block over really quick. Boom, okay, so we dropped down an octave. I changed the color on it now really quick so that we know it's the intro. Can hear it really quick. Alright, and then we'll get into it. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this over 3 more times, because this is going to be our first drop and the build-up section, so we can do this bridge here. So for the bridge, we're not going to want our kick and our 808. That's going to come in on the drop. And then the bass that we have, we're going to take this out of everything except for the drop. If you don't have a separate bass instrument, you can just copy your 808 over and put it there instead, and that'll work just as fine. Okay. So I'm also going to take out the clap, which is just a second layer over the snare. In this little intro part, and I'm gonna take out a little bit of everything except for one of the instruments. Let's go with the bells here, and this is gonna basically give us a little gap so that it hits twice as hard when that drop comes back in. So that's the first little part, okay? Alright, so now let's take a listen to our intro. Alright, see, it gives that little pause before it comes in, so that's really big when you're arranging your tracks. So now I'm going to go through kind of the process that I do. You're probably going to develop your own once you start finding things that you like and you don't like. You can start piecing together yours, but this is kind of how I go about it. So for the first part of the drop here, I usually let everything play, okay? And then the second parts here, I will take out this section again, like we did before the drop. Okay, so the reason I didn't cut that part out of the first part is because we're going to have the instruments come in by themselves here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the first 2 kicks here, and then everything else except for the clap and the snare, we're going to leave that. So we'll take the hi-hat out right here. Okay, and for our 808, we're going to take this out, and we're just going to have it come in a couple times, so it's not going to be anything too crazy. So let's listen to this really quick. Alright, we're going to take out that. We're just basically going to take pieces out of the 808 that don't need to be there. We only want it to play for a little while. Okay, so we're changing up the 808 on the second part here. And on the third part, I'm going to take out a lot of the kick notes. Okay, so I'm basically going to have it play here, take out these other 2. And we'll do it like that, okay? So let's listen to it again, make sure it sounds all right. Alright, so mostly 808 playing there. Looks good. Okay, so another thing you can do if you have multiple instruments that you're using in your melody, like I do here, you can take some of them out. So you can see that I labeled the top one here lead. So what I'm going to do is that's only going to come in every other part. So when the drop happens, the lead's not going to be in there, and then it'll come in for the second part of the drop, and then it'll come back in for the next part of the bridge once we get there. And so really quick, let's just take a listen to what we have so far. Make sure it's cohesive and working well. Alright, so it's already starting to look like a drop. It's starting to feel good and cohesive. I'm going to throw my tag at the beginning here really quick. Okay, so now is the time where we start taking things out if they need to be taken out, and then adding anything extra before we complete the whole beat together. So what I'm going to do, what I like to do is kind of chop up the hi-hat on every other part. So when it first comes in, I like to chop it up at a certain part. Let's try this. Just take out a little bit. Perfect. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Alright, easy. So we're gonna do the same thing over here. Copy this over, and then remember that we took this out before, so what I usually do is, since this is a little bit weird, I usually just delete that part and pull this back in, because we don't want it to be playing right away. So let's see how that sounds. Perfect. All right, so simple. Copy that over. We got a little bit of difference in our hi-hat. Now I'm just gonna add in some open hi-hat sounds, maybe a percussion. Okay, so it sounds good now. I'm gonna take it out of the last section here so that it's not playing. The hi-hat can have the open hi-hat can have its time over here, and the percussion can have its time by itself here. So basically the goal is to make each part of the drop different than the last one. We want to be changing multiple things so that the listener is not getting used to our beat and they're constantly getting excited for what's going to happen next. Alright guys, so once you have your drums finished up and you have it sounding good the way you like it, it's time to add the final toppings, the final little pieces to give it that extra little bit of flair that your opponents don't know about. Alright, so let's look at that. So basically, these little gaps that we made right here, let's make these a little more interesting. So for this gap right here, let's take this last section where the gap is actually at, and we're gonna raise it up an octave. Okay? And we're gonna discolor this so we know that this one has the raised octave at our gap here. So basically, it's gonna sound like this.
Yeah, hit me with that fearless shit.
So it's gonna come in, it's gonna be like, oh, where did that come from? That's new. And then it's gonna go back into the beat. Okay? And we can also do that right here as well. This one is gonna be good because we don't actually have a break, so we don't need to add any additional instruments. But for this one, right before we go back into the bridge, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna record these bells here and reverse it. Alright, so to reverse the bells, we're gonna put an audio track in here. Alright, we're gonna arm it. We're gonna press this in so that it's listening in for something. Select the bells from here. Okay, and now it's gonna go, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put it somewhere and record a little chunk of the bells. Actually cancel that, we're gonna record the lead instead. So we're gonna switch the in here to our lead, which is this instrument. Okay, and then we're gonna record that. So let's do that really quick. All right, good enough. Now we can unarm this, put this back on off, exit in, or we'll put it on auto. All right, and then we'll jump in here and grab our little recorded part. Press this button, okay, and then we're gonna reverse this. Now the reason I did 2 chunks instead of just 1 is because it usually sounds better in one spot. So let's hear it really quick. Alright, so I like that, and that's what we're gonna have come in before our next bridge. So let's hear what this is gonna sound like. Boom, and then it'll come back in to the bridge. Alright guys, so that basically spices it up when you're going into each different section. Another thing you could do is add transitions. So if you want to add a riser so that it rises up right before the next hit, that always adds some excitement as well. Let's see, I can add one in here. Alright, we're going to use this wind FX here, and let's see, where do we want to put it? So this comes in. So this kick comes in at a weird time, so we're not going to put it here, so we can put it on this one. So it's actually in the right spot already. What do you know? So we're going to turn this way down, and we're going to hear how this sounds. Alright, so that's a little too... Perfect. Alright, so that's what you want it to do. I'm going to take out some of this excess. We don't need that. Turn this down a little more. Awesome. So that's going to make this last part of the drop come in that much harder. Alright guys, so that's basically all the transitions you need to do. Let's hear this all the way through and then put it all together.
Yeah, hit me with that fearless shit.
Alright guys, so you can see that it's different at each different section, and it just keeps the excitement there. It switches things up so you're not getting used to it. You're always like, okay, what's coming next? That is exactly what you want. So when you're happy with everything, what you can do is you can now take this little chunk you have, minus our intro, we can just duplicate that 2 more times, and that is a full song. Now if you want to go overboard, you can actually change up each one of these, or maybe you can have this last drop be different. You could put like a halftime on it so that this last part of the drop is all in halftime and it like cuts everything in half. That would be a cool idea. You can do things like that, but normally if you're selling a rap song, if you're selling a beat to a rapper, you kind of want it to be cohesive all the way through so that they're not getting confused. So this is a perfect layout if you're selling beats. And guys, if you're new here, please give me a subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel get going. And click that like button so we can get this channel popping right away. I got all kinds of things I can't wait to share with you guys. And I'll be releasing tutorials every single Monday for sure. I also do videos on the weekends sometimes, like you're seeing this video today. Not every single week though, but I'm always uploading at least 1 new tutorial every single week. And guys, if there's anything that you want to see, anything that I haven't covered yet, leave a comment below and I'll definitely take that into consideration. Guys, stay safe out there, and I'll be seeing you again next time. Peace out.
Yeah, hit me with that fearless shit.